In this lesson, we are actually going to look at simple interest a little bit further. So by the end of the lesson, you should know how to calculate simple interest given the principal, the interest rate, and the duration of the loan or investment in duration other than years. Let's recap. Interest is actually the amount of money paid when one borrows money or invests. So you should know what interest, principal, rate, and time are. So I'm not going to read through the definition again. And the final amount A is actually principal plus interest. Now we know that I equals to PRT, and the story so far for us, we look at the rate per annum. Per annum stands for, PA stands for per annum, which means each year. So we have been looking at the interest for every year and then adding them together. That is using the equation I equals to PRT. If we say that we are investing $2,000 at an interest rate of 5% for 4 years, we know that P is 2,000. R is 5% or 0.05 and T is 4 for 4 years. Now what if we only want to invest the $2,000 for 6 months with the same simple interest rate of 5% per annum? So what is T now? We can see that 6 months is actually half a year, or 0.5 of a year. Or you can think of this as calculating the interest for 1 year and then halve it. So let's do it. So I equals to PRT for 1 year, which is 2,000 times 0.05 or 5% times T is 1, which means that is 100. And then halve it for 6 months. I equals to 100 divided by 2, which is $50. Or what we can do is straight away put in the half, PRT over 2, since we know that is half a year. Therefore is 2,000 times 0.05 over 1 over 2 equals to 50. Either way is fine. So we should remember 1 year is equal to 12 months and is equal to 52 weeks and equals to 365 days. You must remember that we are actually using 365 days unless it is specifically said that it's a leap year. If not, we just assume that a year is 365 days. All right, let's have a look at some examples. Example 1. How much interest would I have to pay if I borrow $3,000 for 8 months at a simple interest rate of 10% per annum? So this is P, this is R, and this is T. So T is actually now 8 over 12. All right, if you want to simplify it, that's fine, which is 2/3 of a year. It's actually up to you. And P is 3,000. When I mean up to you, is because you only simplified the answer right at the end. You don't have to simplify it if you're given just the information. And then R is 10%. Therefore, I equals to P is 3,000, R is 0.1, which is 10%, and T is 8 over 12. Using your calculator, you work out the interest rate is $200. All right, next example. How much final repayment, which means I have to find A, would I have to pay if I borrow $4,000, which is the principal for 2 years and 6 months, the T, and a simple interest rate of 6% R. So this time we know that T is 2 years and 6 months, and you know that 6 months is actually half a year, so it's 2.5 years. All right, and all is actually equals to 5/2 years. It's up to you. Or 2.5 years. Alright? Doesn't matter which one you use. And now, interest rate is 6% per annum. And principal is actually $4,000. Therefore, that's not I, that's actually R. I equals to 4,000, 0.06, that's R, and T is 2.5, which means it is actually $600. So therefore, the final amount, final repayment, A is equals to $4,000 plus the interest, which is $600, which means this becomes $4,600. All right, let's have a look at this example. Mark borrowed $3,000 from his parents to buy a motorbike, and he paid back a total of $3,600 after 2.5 years, which includes simple interest rate on the loan. How much was the interest rate? R, we don't know. We can work out I equals to A minus P, which is 3,600 minus 3,000, which is $600. T, you know that is 2.5 years, or 2.5 years, or 2 years and 6 months. And then P is actually $3,000. So therefore, we know that I equals to P R T, and the rate is I over PT equals to $600 over 3,000 and 2.5. All right, so therefore R is 0.08, which is 8%. We should say it per annum because we are working out in terms of year. Example, the interest rate paid on the loan was 2,000, not interest rate, the interest, so this is actually I. Given that the simple interest rate is 5% and the money borrowed was 9 years and 3 months, what was the principal? Now, the time T is actually 9 years and 3 months. Therefore, it is 9, 3/12 years, or 9, 3 1/4. Or if you like, change it into improper fraction, or 9.25 years. It's up to you, or decimal. So R is 5%, I should say it's per annum, and I is actually 2,000. So we know that I equals to P RT, therefore P is equals to I over RT. In this case is 2,000 over R, which is 5% or 0.05, and the T is 9.25. Actually, I might write everything in decimal, makes it a little bit easier. And that equals to, from my calculator, 4324.324324. All right, we should actually round it up to 2 decimal place only, or round it down. It's 4324.32. So that was the principle. This is how you calculate it. This is the end of the lesson.